Hey everybody, this is Tulip.
And this is Cassidy.
And you are here for an episode of The Good News, the Gospel according to AMC's Preacher.
Season 3, Episode 6.
Les Enfants du Sang.
I know. You've said it 100 times already.
Let's see where this story takes us.
Oh, the children of the blood, as those of us would say in English.
They were the best part of the whole show.
Oh, yeah, kind of. Like, there was a lot of good parts to the show.
Oh, my God.
I know, like, we've both been very meh on watching the show.
We're going to be so opposite on our ratings on this one, too. Oh, my God.
We are,
We
but
are.
I'm here to talk you off the ledge.
Talk me off the ledge, because my rating was 2.8 out of 5 blood ceremonies.
Oh, no. Mine was 3.5 poorly pixelated penises. And you're off the ledge.
I am off the ledge. TC and the goats. That was pretty funny.
Okay, you could see his dangle. It was flopping. Like, pixelate that just a little bit more for us, please. That was amazing, though. I loved the sign, Linda's petting zoo.
Right.
Come touch an animal.
I missed that part of it. That's funny.
Yeah, it was the best petting zoo in Angel. Come touch an animal. Or touch an animal and come. No, I didn't say that.
You just did. We're supposed to be like PG.
I didn't swear.
That's true.
I think I may have taken my sleeping pill now.
Oh dear.
This could be interesting.
Buckle up.
I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth next.
Oh no. Well, believe it or not, I actually found some numbers about this episode.
Sweet.
So, they're not much. I couldn't find overall numbers, but I found that in Live Plus 7, we gained 150% in the 18 to 49 group.
Nice.
So, it was 0.2 million in Live Plus Same Day, which is like 200,000 people, right? And it was 500,000 in Live Plus 7.
I was reading where it's like the 4th biggest show on AMC.
Okay, so Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul and Preacher.
Huh.
Yeah, so not a ratings juggernaut, but solid.
Let's hope it continues to be. Although I don't know, I was confessing to Mr. Perch earlier that I honestly have been a little bit bored, and he reassured me that being a little behind, that this week really steps it up.
Good. We are podcasting 2 weeks behind because
I went to horse camp.
Yeah, down to horsey camp where she touched animals.
But not inappropriately.
No, she was fully clothed, as were they.
And my animal was even clothed.
Yes, as were they. You even bought new clothing for your animal. Normally, I go on a trip and buy clothes for myself. You go on a trip and buy tack.
I bought tack, but I didn't buy a rain sheet, which is what he really needed. And we ended up borrowing the Minnie's rain sheet, which was really funny because then I had to tie it on him with baling twine.
Oh,
he looked quite sad compared to all of the other flashy horses there.
Oh my God, that's adorable.
It was pretty funny. So our writer was a woman named Rachel Wagner, who didn't have a whole heck of a lot to her name. She has Preacher, and she's worked on CSI New York.
Huh.
I didn't see much else for her. The director was a woman named Laura Belzy, who had a fair amount, including Arrow and The Flash.
2 shows I like.
And I didn't really record much else about either woman, which made me kind of sad because this was an episode written and directed by women, but I just was kind of meh while I was trying to prep, so I didn't prep any more about them.
Well, shout out to Preacher for giving some women some opportunities.
And Joseph Gilgun was like a co-executive producer on this episode, so shout out to him too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that already takes us into our featured cast member.
Adam Crosdale.
So I guess it's Crousdale or
Crowd.
Croasdale, depending. He spells it a couple of different ways.
Well, yeah, exactly. The YouTube video that I watched had him saying Crosdale.
Okay.
Um,
Which looks like the way it's spelled on IMDb with the series.
right, and then he's got the alternate, like, spelling that he's known under.
Which is Crousdale.
Yes, it's spelled completely different.
Right, to those of us who are very American, Crousdale.
That's how I was saying it until I heard him say it.
Right? Well, that's how I would have said it.
Yeah.
Especially with the alternate spelling.
Right.
So say it again with the spelling that is associated with preacher.
Crosdale.
Croasdale. Okay. I would have put a little more emphasis on the A, so I'm glad
Me
that you
too.
listened to it.
Yeah, and I specifically looked for one where they either, announced his name or he said his name.
So he is just a kid, just like you. He was born in 1980. No, you
No,
were
I was 79. He's 7 months
79.
younger.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, you're so much older.
I
Oh.
know. I know. And I'm so much more accomplished than he.
That's funny.
His Instagram's way better than mine, though, I have to say.
You said his Instagram was good, and my response was, all of these stars have good Instagrams.
Well, they get shots on the set. They're okay. First one that comes up, the first picture that comes up when you look him up, he has got this long flowing mane of hair, and he's in this like gray Bond kind of suit, and he just looks so delicious. And then the next one is him in his Icarius garb,
Mm-hmm.
and he looks so cool. But he's also got one on here with him and the owl, and I just love the caption that he put under it. He said that the owl was a eagle owl. She's got a wingspan of 6 feet and talons that will instantly make her number one on the call sheet. She was a serene professional and only hissed at Joe Gilgun a couple of times.
That's funny.
And she has a trailer bigger than Will Smith's. Yeah, so he's super cheeky on his Instagram. His Twitter is nothing but Dalai Lama retweets and gaming retweets because if you are a gamer, you know Adam from his voice work.
Right.
Yes. Big in Final Fantasy, got a Lord of the Rings in there, some Batman video games.
And his IMDb said that he's working on another major franchise, but they didn't name what it was.
Right. Yeah, he's Nightwing and Alfred in Batman Ninja.
Oh, how interesting. What a diverse, or, what two different characters to play in one series. That's really interesting.
Well, and it's funny because his normal voice sounds like Alfred, and they said that he does all of his Alfred voice work in the morning and during the day, and his Nightwing work in the evening at night, because I'm sure his voice gets lower and more gravelly and everything. So I thought that was interesting that they time it just so that it's easier on him.
See, and I'm totally from the series when I thought of Nightwing as just a kid. So to think of Nightwing as being low and gravelly, it's like, really?
Yeah. I don't watch the video. Well, I do watch some video games. I'm my other half's navigator for some video games, but they're mostly zombie games, which he is a voice in the zombie game Dead Island. So I have probably heard his voice on a video game and not realized it.
Probably.
But he has a number of acting credits, and I will just say the big one that I know of that I don't watch is EastEnders.
And I wasn't familiar with that at all.
So think of American like Guiding Light, Young and Restless, Days of Our Life.
Oh, okay.
It is a super long running TV series soap opera. He was on it from 2009 to 2010, playing Dr. Al Jenkins. And 1 in 6 UK people have watched EastEnders. So, I mean, it's got a huge following over
I
there. So,
guess, man.
yeah, so between that and a lot of voice work, he started to parlay that into some regular work in the US. NCIS Los Angeles, he was in Nikita, Hot,
Supernatural, which is linked to
yes,
Jeffrey Dean Morgan, which is the AMC
AMC
link.
Universe, yep. He was in an episode of Hot in Cleveland with Betty White, so
Oh,
that makes him awesome in my book.
that's awesome.
Except that I haven't watched Hot in Cleveland. It's just it keeps not being on my radar until it is, and then I instantly forget.
There's
I
just,
know.
I know we say it all the
There's
time.
too
There's
much.
just too much. There's
There's
that
too
new
much.
series on AMC called Lodge 49 that looks really kind of funny and interesting. And I'm like, nope, can't go there. Can't do it.
I know. I started watching Insatiable on Netflix and Dude, You're Screwed on Amazon Prime, and I'm just like, there's just too much TV. Ugh.
And you said you were watching Castle Rock.
Yes, I am watching Castle Rock. That's a week to week, so
Oh, that's good at least.
yeah, I have to wait a week for that. So, um, but he has also had a couple of reoccurrences on NCIS Prime, the main show.
And it looks like he's been on the spin-off show as well.
Right. He was actually on the spin-off show first.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So my big thing that I know him from is this TV show Rain.
I was interested in that. I haven't watched it, but when I just saw it in his credits, I thought, wow, that looks kind of good.
Right. So it's kind of a loosely based off of the marriage of Mary Queen of Scots.
Oh.
And it's kind of one of those, like, it's on the CW. It's kind of like Vampire Diaries-ish, where it's like late teens, early 20-something, love triangles and murder and drama and just, good old-fashioned, like, soap opera kind of stuff. And so because of the period aspect of it, because I love their dresses and their beautiful hair, I absolutely love the show Rain. So I know him as Lord Bothwell in Rain.
Very good.
Which is since ended, so you can binge all four. I think it's 4 seasons.
I was going to say that may actually be something that I'll binge. I say that now, and then like years from now, I'll be like, what was that series we were talking about?
Well, and you kind of got to know how it ends because it's somewhat historical, so they can go off script as far as like things that happened with palace intrigue and things like that, but you kind of got to kill someone when they died historically. That's not, you can't really, go off script on that one.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like a comic book. You can't just kill Carl halfway through,
When he's still alive in the comics. Ah!
Right? Spoiler alert for Walking Dead fans who are way behind.
We're not way behind. Well, we're way behind in the comics, but...
Right.
So I just have to point out that his first professional job, and this is from IMDb,
and this is amazing,
was acting with Alan Rickman and Helen Mirren in Anthony and Cleopatra.
Dame Helen Mirren.
That is just huge.
I love that. That's amazing. What a way to start out your career.
It's kind of all downhill from there.
I know. I'm just, Alan Rickman, can I hang out with you and be your best friend all the time? Like,
I was like, now this guy is this funny vampire, like, total cardboard cutout of a vampire on Preacher.
He is an Anne Rice character. It is hilarious.
Oh, yeah, totally. He's kind of a combination of, like, Lestat and Louis, and then
Marius.
Well, and I was thinking, actually, Armand as well.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Armand, the one that was played by Antonio Banderas.
Yes.
In the movie. Yeah. And he may even be Santiago, Armand's
right.
Friend.
Yeah, he's kind of a cutout of all of those melded into one fabulous, fantastical vampire.
Yes, absolutely. I love where this storyline is going. I am falling in love with Adam Crosdell. Yeah, I just I would definitely recommend following him on Instagram. He's pretty funny on his Instagram.
Which spelling does he use?
The one on IMDb.
Okay.
Yeah. His, like I said, his Twitter is basically like, unless you're a gamer and you already follow the Dalai Lama, Adam Crosdale does not tweet at all. Like, he just retweets other people and like, stuff that he's involved in. So you won't get a lot of his thoughts or opinions or anything. So he was a little hard to run down on details about his private life and things like that, because he kind of has been a tertiary character in a lot of things. So there's not a lot out there about him. Even the stuff that's on adamcrosdale.com, his own website, is like 2 years old, 2 years out of date. So he is a very strict vegan, and he doesn't think we should eat animals because they have thoughts and feelings, and we should just love them. And I do love my animals that I name, but I also think they're delicious when I don't name them.
I'm thinking the king crab that I just had for dinner doesn't really think very much.
Yeah, neither did the chicken salad that I had. I mean, it was no horse.
Although I do have to say, I love our chickens.
Do you?
I do. I love our chickens. I steal their eggs. I can't eat them.
I
still eat chicken, though.
Your food produces food, so they don't need to be food yet.
There you go.
It would be like having a dairy cow. You produce food, so you aren't food.
Well, and then when they stop producing food, they get the honor of living out their days because they produced food.
Right, exactly.
So,
bees, I just steal their honey.
There you go.
They can live as long as they want to, and I just steal their honey.
As long as they don't sting me, the little bastards.
Oh, I'm totally fine with bees stinging me. But wasps serve no purpose on Earth, and they should be eradicated. Roundup, you need to get on that.
There were tons of wasps in Fairbanks when I went to horse camp.
They're dicks. They're horrible.
They were awful.
Okay, I got one sting in one finger, and I was down for 3 days. I haven't been down for 3 days after major surgery. It was awful. Like, wasps serve no purpose on this earth other than to be dicks.
Please, someone, if wasps do serve a purpose, feel free to correct us. Let us know that you're actually out there.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to sit out in the middle of town with one of those benches that says, wasps serve no purpose. Change my mind. I want to meet the person who is pro-wasp. So
I'm looking at Adam Crosdale's
we're just going to call you Adam.
Yeah, there you go. So we don't get too weirded out about the last name and the various spellings. He apparently has a fan page on Instagram as well.
Oh, does he?
Yep.
I didn't see that one. Oh, and by the way, the movie he thinks the worst of is a movie called Attack Force, and he is in it. So now I have to watch it.
Oh, that is too funny. Oh, dear. I made the mistake of looking at Betty Buckley's Instagram while we were talking, and she's got a scene from this week's Preacher, and I can't see it because I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I have to scroll through really fast because I've started to like a lot of Preacher stuff on my Instagram, and we're a couple of weeks behind. So
she does have an awesome Instagram, though, Betty Buckley.
She does.
Not for the faint of heart. If you're not a lefty, don't follow her.
She does do a lot of like her horses and stuff.
She does. In fact, she has liked a couple of my messages back to her about horses, which I thought was very nice.
Aw, that's very nice. Totally off Preacher subject. And I don't think Thomas O'Mara listens to the show, but I am so excited for
his shout out.
His shout out by Jenna Elfman. That's amazing.
Yes, and then I guess there was a second shout out from someone on the crew. I didn't.
And she follows him now on Twitter, and I'm so proud of him, and I'm so jealous of his life, and yeah,
he's
awesome.
he's at Walker Stalker Orlando right now.
Oh, Totally
which
jelly.
is how he got the shout out from Jenna Elfman.
Right. And we were all kind of a little bit mad about her character and everything, and turns out she's a lovely person in real life.
Oh,
So
I'm
not
sure she is.
not a documentary. Don't hate people on Twitter.
No, I love her, and I actually love
Yeah.
her character too. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It was a little touch and go when we thought that like maybe she'd killed Madison or whatever. But no, Jenna Elfman is amazing and lovely, and that's awesome.
oh, Michael Satrazemis is the person who did a little shout out.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
That's good.
totally off Reacher.
Totally off
We'll
feature.
have to
So
remember to say something when we do our Biters podcast this week.
yeah, we definitely do.
So, just a tiny bit more about Adam Crosdell. He is British/American. He was born and raised in Africa.
Yeah, he was born in Zimbabwe. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah. And
That's
I
awesome.
wonder what his voice actually sounds like. He said it actually sounds like Alfred, so I guess I'll have to check out some of the Batman voiceover and see.
Yes, he has a very lovely accent and speaking voice. I can definitely tell why he does a lot of voice work is just because his accent is very posh and his voice is so smooth.
So he
And
probably sounds a lot like Icarius in his
it
actual
yes,
speaking voice then.
yes, he definitely does.
Okay.
He has that air of aristocracy in him without being snobby.
19 languages.
19 inches. Oh, and I can turn into a cat.
A kitten, a cute little kitten.
Oh, that was so adorable.
It was pretty adorable.
Although I'm really sad he ate the owl.
Yeah, what was that anyway?
I mean, it was a way to get um,
Cass's attention.
Cass's attention. Yeah,
Yeah.
something he hadn't seen before. And at first I was thinking, yeah, whatever. I saw Ozzy do this. Like it was with a bat and he was just the head. But whoa, that whole thing just went down his throat.
So
That was
any...
al-
Oh,
that
go
was
ahead.
almost my rating was deep-throated owls.
Oh, lovely. You just
But
had
for
the X-rated ratings, didn't you?
poorly pixelated penises won out after my second rewatch, or after I watched on a laptop that I was like 1 foot from, and I'm like, you can see it.
That's really funny.
It needed a black bar. Oh
So anything else about Adam Crosdell?
no, I think that was just about it.
Well, he's a pretty cool addition, a very suave addition to our cast.
Yes, and I cannot wait to see where he and Cass go. This could turn into like a buddy cop vampire show.
Oh my god, that would be hilarious.
It would be amazing.
It was kind of sad, and I'm kind of taking us down the word already, but it was kind of sad that someone who had lived as long as Icarius and was as cool as Icarius was like, I'm just looking for a friend.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody who's like me.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he is kind of creating his own followers, but not someone who's already lived hundreds of years and kind of knows the ropes. But
Right.
this will be someone he can take under his ring who's already had experiences and everything. So,
Well, then Cass did go back to him at the end of the episode, so we'll see how that goes.
yeah. Yeah.
So, going into our goods, bads, and
Gospel.
uglies, so what was your gospel?
My gospel was the children of the blood.
Ah, so was mine.
Yes. I absolutely love everything about it. That they are this, I mean, for everything from they're this like cult of a bunch of like young people who kind of live on the fringes and everything, that they worship a guy and he's totally legit, and he's not just stringing him along. He will turn you at some point when you're ready.
If as long
And
as you're a good person, which I thought was
right,
very interesting, his whole point that it just kind of was the point of you are always going to be the person you were regardless of whether or not you get this
right,
change.
right. And I loved everything, even like them being in Grandma Rosenstein's
Oh my
basement.
God, that was hilarious.
That was hilarious. And shout out to Grandma Rosenstein that like she so embraces her grandson's alternate lifestyle. Everyone needs a cool grandma like that.
She was pretty awesome. And she led her
Yeah.
muumuu to Cass while his laundry was getting done. So,
And like she was making blondies and she was just so excited Cass was back and like yeah, I like Grandma Rothstein. I hope nothing bad happens to her.
I felt like the Children of Blood were much needed comic relief. I feel like we've been a little bit bogged down. There's been a lot of violence, a lot of grimness, and I just felt like they were some totally needed comic relief in the series.
Definitely, because without their storyline in this episode, and we'll get into a little bit later,
I
there was
would have
some.
rated it like a point 0.1 out of 5.
This was some serious stuff went down in this episode that totally just would have passed by.
Yeah.
But yeah, they brought some much needed levity, and I really like Ikarius in that. I think he's going to be a really good influence on Cass. I think he's going to bring Cass out of this funk.
I hope so, because that was my Job.
Okay.
So
So
Cassidy's funk and just his huge depression. I mean, it's kind of a bummer to see your favorite vampire hanging out in an alley surrounded by aerosol cans.
that was my Job also.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
It's funny that our ratings and perceptions were so different, but we're kind of right in line as far as our things that are our tells for this episode.
there was so much extra to the episode. I actually had a hard time picking stuff. But yeah, the conversation with Tulip, I've been through 1,000 of you and Jesse's, and I'll go through 1,000 more.
Yeah.
Just that was really serious, and it could have totally dragged down the episode without Cass going back to the Children of Blood.
I've been
So
smoking crack all day. Oh dear, that's not good for you.
oh, so accepting. I love her.
And she looks familiar to me. I've seen her somewhere before.
Okay, I'll have to look her up really quick because I thought I had two.
Well, I'm on IMDb, so let me just get back to Preacher and we'll see if they credit her or not for this episode.
Mrs. Rosen. I keep saying Mrs. Rosenstein, and it's Mrs. Rosen. Um, let's see. Where do we know her from? Mm, Kevin Probably Saves the World, one episode. Rectify,
Boy, her name is just, I mean, her face is just so familiar. Her name is not
right?
that familiar, but her face sure is.
Yeah. She's in a TV series called Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell.
That totally cracked me up. I saw that too.
I love it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, she's only credited in this one episode. I hope that's not accurate.
Yeah, me either. Wait. Oh, they are redoing a Jacob's Ladder. She's coming up in the reboot of Jacob's Ladder.
Which I sort of vaguely remember. Wasn't Tim...
It starts with Tim Robbins.
Yeah,
Tim
wasn't
Robbins?
he in that?
Yeah. After
Okay.
returning home from Vietnam War, veteran Jacob Singer struggles to maintain his sanity, plagued by hallucination and flashbacks. Singer rapidly falls apart, and as the world and the people around him morph and twist into disturbing images. A remake of the 1990 thriller starring Tim Robbins.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's going to be coming up in that.
Well, I don't recognize any of her credits, which kind of bums me out because she looks super familiar to me.
Yeah, me too.
And she was really funny in this little bit. So I actually hope that we see Grandma Rosen again.
Yes. Coming down the stairs with a load of laundry. Sorry, I didn't know the Had company. Oh, and I love how Akarius is just totally chill. Like he likes her. Like,
Right, and he's totally chill with the fact that his little vampire coven is hanging out in Grandma's basement.
yeah, I'm sure there have been worse places he's hung out in.
That's true.
I
That's
mean,
true.
you'd think he could like seduce some like beautiful woman with a condo over the French Quarter or something,
Well,
you know.
he
But
obviously can.
but he does this to keep out the interlopers.
There you go.
Yep.
Because there are a lot of interlopers.
That's and I wonder if the vampire cabal that Jesse has, or I'm sorry, that Cassidy has had involvement with knows about him. Maybe he's hiding from them.
They kind of let that whole storyline die, and I'm wondering if they're going to bring it back.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit around the time when he was deciding on whether or not to kill his son.
I don't
There,
know. I
there
don't.
yeah, there were some phone calls that it was just kind of like, well, you kind of got to do it. So, I don't know. I don't know. So our goods and our bads were the same.
I couldn't pick a revelation.
Really?
Really.
Oh,
I didn't have one.
so Madame Boyd. They killed her.
Right? They did
What?
kill Madame Boyd. I know, when I did my first watch, I was like, well, that was short-lived for our featured cast member.
Yeah, I'm glad we featured her as our cast member when we could. I just did not see that storyline ending this quickly.
Hopefully that doesn't happen with Icarius.
Right? I don't think it will though. But yeah, I was just couldn't have Jesse have saved her? I mean, now okay, do you have to have your soul put back into you, or can you have one of the other souls put back into you? Because like the reason why he shot her was having,
No
that's no
soul.
way to live.
Right.
Yeah, and so I can't believe he couldn't have gotten her soul out of the case and just fed it to her.
I don't think it's the same though, because even though Grandma needs souls to survive, she still has her own soul. You know?
Ah, that's true.
And Tulip has her own soul.
Yeah.
And Jesse has, like, well, does he have any of his soul?
99% of his soul.
It's that 1% that's missing that makes him
Yeah.
inaccessible to Genesis.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep. And that the saint doesn't have to obey him. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really disappointed. Like I really liked her as a character, and I thought that they could have taken her storyline a little further. And I really loved her and Tulip's interactions when they had them. So
Hmm.
I was really disappointed that I don't know, unless they bring her back from the grave somehow, which I mean is entirely possible.
I was gonna say I don't think they can, but you're right. It's entirely possible. I mean, Tulip has died 3 times.
Yeah.
Really,
And
only twice, but
I mean, shot to the head without your soul.
that's
What
pretty
is
bad.
Yeah, I don't know if there's coming back from that unless you come back as like a mindless zombie to do the bidding of the person who raised you.
Which we have not seen that in this episode or in this series, so it's
Not yet.
possible.
Not yet. And there is that weird scene that was in the trailer that I haven't seen yet was Tulip crawling out of her grave. So, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I was really shocked and kind of a little bit upset about that. I really thought that Madame Boyd's story wasn't over.
Well, Jesse was pretty angry with her.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't see that he had a huge impetus to stop her death, and it was kind of already a done deal by the time he got to where he was.
Well, and he's going to have a lot on his plate between getting out from under Grandma and beating the Grail. So
Hmm.
here we go. So yeah, those were my stuffs.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I get more energized about the series again because I do love this series, but this was definitely an episode where I was like, what's going on my phone? Which is a bummer because I did think that the Children of Blood were really, really, really funny, and I really enjoyed that, and I really was affected by Cassidy's obviously severe depression, but
And I am, and the Uber Anne Rice like goth that lives inside of me, but like can't really come out because I have a professional job, so I just wear a lot of black. Um, that like his character appeals so much to me because it's the romanticized gothic New
oh
Orleans
sure.
French Creole vampire that has the abilities that we have not seen in Cassidy. I mean, the whole turning into a cat and just being able to command women to, come
To
over and
come
kiss
to
him.
him. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and flying. Hello, flying.
So, he did say to Cassidy, perhaps you've been doing it wrong. So, has Cassidy been doing it wrong all this time?
Um, yes and no. I did Cassidy not know that he could do this?
It sounds like he didn't know he could fly. It sounds like he didn't really know that he could persuade people the way that Icarius persuaded the woman and her father.
So, and there's some like vampire lore where you each get individual abilities where, it's not a universal all of them can fly, it's not a universal all of them have the power of seduction.
Oh,
It's not
that's true.
look at True Blood for inspiration. Some had mind reading abilities, and some had, So maybe Cassidy just doesn't have those, and he has something else that has yet to be brought out because he's never had a mentor, and it also may take the drinking of human blood or turning someone to do it because he drinks human blood, but it's donor blood.
Well, and Cass did say that he was turning all those people just so he could get off on his little tricks
Yeah, so it may take turning people.
to have those powers.
Right. So there's a loophole.
There's always a loophole.
Always a loophole.
So speaking of always loopholes, so the saint of all killers has Eugene. That was so terrible. I was like, do they not screen foster parents at all?
Well, okay, my rant is they were like the intercom was like, Eugene, you've been adopted, and then they were like, this is your foster parent. I'm like, those are two different things.
You're right. You're
I, I
right.
worked I worked for OCS for 10 years, so I was like, no, those are two different things. They had to get two different screenings, two different stipends. Like, no. So I'm one of those people that's like, you're holding the gun wrong. So that was my little rant about that. But I absolutely loved that. Oh, like him seeing, uh, what was it? I want to say rat water.
Oh, seeing Anvil.
Anvil.
Yeah, which was Ratwater at one point. So
Right, right. Anvil's so close to Angelville that I was like, no,
Mhm.
that doesn't sound right. Um, Seeing everyone he's ever known, the town he grew up in, everything just a pit in the earth, and just being totally devastated, and then being like, maybe I went to hell for a reason.
God has a plan for me.
Yeah, it saved me. And he's like walking into the orphanage and he's all happy, and the other kid's
His
like,
roommate was really funny. Let me tell you a
yeah.
story. She died. The end.
And then she died, and then she died. And yeah, and the look on his face when they were like, Root, Eugene, you've been adopted. The kid was like, oh, really? White kid comes in here and immediately gets adopted before he's even got a cot. And it didn't even faze him that it was the saint of all killers, and like he threw the other chick through the the wall. And
Right.
He's still like lucky.
And did you see their sign? Inventory low, make us an offer.
I did.
So apparently they're not screening very carefully.
No. No. Yeah. So,
So how did Hairstar's head get wounded? Was that from when Tulip shot him?
yes.
That was what my other half's thought was. And I was like, I totally missed it. He's like, but you watched this so carefully. And I'm like, apparently not.
Yeah. She grazed him right over the top of the head and he scurried. I know. Your head looks like a penis.
Yeah. It kind of does.
Yeah. Once he pointed it out, I'm like, I get the Liza Minnelli hat now. That's funny. Yeah. So, apparently, I haven't read that far in the comics, but the eating of the horse and the vomit wand are straight out of the books.
I remember a reference to his vomiting habits. So,
Ugh.
yeah, that was disgusting.
Yeah.
Another thing straight out of the book. So Tulip in the blonde wig it's got to be a nod to the original Tulip.
I loved her Stepford Wives look.
She looked
Oh
adorable.
my
Yeah.
God. Yeah. That so did it for me. Her breezing in there in her skirt and white cardigan and kitten heels. Yeah. I absolutely loved it. And I really, really hope that they sanitize that hand scanner that you're supposed to lick.
Oh, right? I do
Yeah.
have to say there was a part of me that was thinking, how did they get that clean between uses?
Yeah. Because he didn't wipe it down first or
Oh,
after. You think you'd have some alcohol swabs sitting there. So, I mean, so that you wouldn't cross-contaminate and get a bad reading,
it was disgusting.
at the very least.
But it did set us up for a great trick for Jesse to make sure that we had access to Madame Boyd's souls.
Right. Right. And I love that in the car where she's like, okay, there's uh three security locks. I three armed guards, one with an 870, uh, six with these, and it's a 14-digit combination. And of course, the guys in the back seat are going, and so she's like, so piece of cake.
Yeah.
And then TC's like, it's like 7 minutes for response time, and TC's like, we could buy you more time.
I thought that was so funny because, of course, the second time around, I knew exactly what he was talking about.
Yep, yep. And when Jody's dropping him off, and he's like, "Do you need me to come with you?" And TC's like,
I
"No,
prefer a little privacy.
And he was just running down the street with that goat, with that smile on his face.
That poor goat.
Oh, that poor goat.
Ew.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Although, I think that's a little more preferable than his role play with Madame Langell.
Preacher's going there, man. Seth Rogen is not afraid.
Nope. Nope. If you tell him to clean it up, he'll just tell you to stop watching.
Right. Let's see, what else? Oh, I thought Sabina's line to Jesse when she said, "You were the first boy that took me shoplifting on a date." That cracked me up.
That's funny.
And she was the first girl that played Johnny Cash for him. I don't have a whole lot else. You said you had tons of numbers.
I do have tons of numbers,
And
but
so,
I do also. I want to say that one of my favorite scenes was, uh, what's his name? Hairstar and Hoover in the elevator, and Hairstar is How hard could it be to find an Irish demon started off by a hooting pack of cape-wearing nobodies?
It is New
And
Orleans, sir.
yeah, kind of a good point. And
And
then
then
they
he
go,
was like, I depend on you and blah, blah, blah. And then Hoover's like, oops, forgot to push the button.
yeah, why is this taking so long? Oh, didn't push the button. And Hoover's like, the Allfather's more fat than scary, which is
Right.
what we are all thinking. And it turns out he's horrifying.
He is horrifying. But,
Yeah.
like, the whole package is horrifying.
Oh, he's disgusting,
Yes. Yes.
too. And, the uber lib in me is like, stop making the morbidly obese person the evil guy. That happens a lot in fantasy type shows and stuff. You'll find that in one of the Blade movies did that.
Oh, I kind of vaguely remember that.
Pearl was the demon that needed to be watered all the time, and then there was a similar demon in Buffy, where I'm just like, that kind of makes me sad that but there's plenty of skinny evil people. In fact, most people who are skinny are evil.
But not Cass. His skinny jeans, man. I was like, those skinny jeans are just too much.
Yeah. All skinny jeans are too much. Like, ugh. Not a thing for me.
Me either. All right, for some reason my printer is talking to us.
Wow.
It's kind of got its own little thing going on.
North Korea and Russia have gone from shutting down the podcast to messing with your equipment.
They're like, we're bored. We're bored with this podcast.
It's just going to start popping out random messages.
Probably.
It'll probably be a list of Trump's tweets.
Oh my god.
So you can frame them and preserve them forever.
Didn't they do that with a book?
There's like an entire museum dedicated to them. Like, I think in New York or something, people are actually printing them out, framing them, and hanging them on a wall.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the numbers.
The numbers. So there were actually a lot of numbers in this episode, starting with 311 East.
I feel so bad that I missed all the numbers.
311 East was when...
Was that the address? No. Okay.
When Eugene was standing on the precipice of what used to be his hometown, there was a sign for Highway 311 East.
Okay.
And Matthew 3:11, I baptize you with water for repentance, but after me comes one who is more powerful than I, whose sandals I am not worthy to carry. He will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and fire.
Well, that's pretty appropriate for Anvil.
Well, and it's appropriate for the saint to take him wherever the saint takes him, whether he takes him to hell, to the devil, or somehow God does intervene because, like Eugene said, God is in everything. So there's that. So the orphanage was established in 1828. I really didn't find much that went with the Bible in that.
Although it is along the Saint of Killers timeline.
Yes, exactly. I will tell you there was another phone number that I have not called this episode. If you look very, very closely when the bank teller is counting out the money, there is a wanted poster of about 9 to 12 people.
Did any of our characters show up on the wanted poster? I didn't pause.
Yes, so the first one was a sketch of Jesse.
Oh, that's so funny.
Second one was like a driver's license or a booking photo of Tulip. Somewhere there was Jody and TC.
Of course, TC.
Right. But all the others were a kind of randomized. I didn't recognize the picture. But yes, our 4 criminals were on the poster.
Awesome.
And there was a phone number in red on that poster, and it was not a dummy number, but if you Google it, it doesn't come up. So I don't know if you dial it if anything happens.
Huh.
Because I have not tried.
And you didn't try the other one.
No, I have not tried the other one yet. And
Being a coward is okay. Sometimes being cowardly is
when I
the better
remember,
part of valor.
yeah, when I remember about it, I'm one, not brave enough to do it, and two, it's also kind of late there. They're like 3 hours ahead of us, and that's just rude. I mean, if I'm going to crank call you, it's going to be at a decent hour.
Exactly. I'm going to prank call you because of Preacher, and I'm going to make sure that it's before 9 your time.
Yeah, yeah. That's just the polite thing to do. Oh. So, on one of the cameras that was focusing in on Tulip, there was 114-33 8mm. Psalms 114, when Israel went out to Egypt, the house of Jacob, from a people of strange language. Judah was his sanctuary, and Israel was his domain. The sea saw it and fled. Jordan was driven back. The mountains skipped like rams, and the hills like lambs. Thou sea, that thou fleddest, thou Jordan, that was thou's driven back.
Oh my god, you're killing me with the these and thous.
Yeah, it keeps going on like that, so we are not going to continue because I could not decipher that, that held anything.
Any significance.
Yeah, and then the 33 was, moreover the Lord came unto Jeremiah the second time while he was yet shut up in the court of his prison, saying. So, I don't know.
It's not like I'm like, oh, that's right on. That's totally appropriate for that scene.
Exactly. So
every now and then, like with the first one, you'll hit something where it's like, oh, that doesn't feel unintentional.
And the box number was box number 95 in the vault. So Psalms 95, come, let us sing the joy of the Lord. Let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before him with thanksgiving and exalt him with music and song. So that doesn't jump out either. See, this is why I was really reluctant to do all of the numbers, because there was a ton more. So
there's a ton of numbers that don't always pan out, but then you hit those one or two where it's like, that's got to be intentional.
Yeah. So Tulip looks at the clock. It's 10:10. When they're talking about how the Bank of Bayou is fully armed and everything. The numbers mentioned are 3, 870, 6, 12, 14, and then 7 minutes. So I wasn't going to go through all those numbers because I feel like we've gone through a lot of the smaller numbers.
We've gone through a lot of the prime numbers, yeah.
Right. So I didn't go through any of those. Oh, and the Bank of the Bayou was established in 1957. That number didn't yield any fruit, so yeah.
So it sounds like the number that really hit was the first one.
Yep, 311.
Yep.
So, feel a little bit better about this episode?
I don't know, man. I still feel like I've been smoking crack all day.
Well, that's not good. Maybe you should eat some blonde.
You're probably right. I probably should.
Yeah. So
we'll get caught up. We have 2 episodes, including tonight's.
Yes, and the next episode is Hitler.
Right.
And then tonight is strangely titled The Tom Brady.
The Tom/Brady.
Right.
Yeah. I hate Tom Brady, by the way.
Well, and there was that whole joke last season with the T-shirt.
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember that.
the little kid in the
Oh,
Vietnam
right, right,
farm.
right.
The pig was elevating, and he was wearing the. I think it was like the Falcons win the
Yes, I
Super
believe
Bowl
it was the
T-shirt.
Falcons. Yes.
Yeah, and
Oh, so there's little football jokes.
yeah,
Yeah.
sports ball.
I mean, I knew Tom Brady was a sports ball joke, right? Because I'm
Yeah,
not a
and
big Tom Brady fan, but
his Patriots maybe.
yeah, Patriots
Yeah, yeah,
quarterback. Yeah.
yeah, and it was the Patriots versus the Falcons.
And a giant whiner. Giant whiner.
It's because he doesn't get to eat real food. His wife's a supermodel, and they're on some weird diet.
Cotton balls and Diet Coke.
Ugh.
I'm just making that up.
Yeah, I know. And it's usually cotton balls and orange juice, I think.
Oh,
But
really? Okay.
yeah, yeah, for
Gotta
the
have
sugar
something to keep your
rush.
blood sugars up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Diet Coke don't got no sugar.
Right.
But yeah, I think I would be cranky too if I couldn't eat what I wanted to eat.
Dude probably expends 20,000 calories a day. He's probably just fine eating whatever he wants to eat.
Right? But yet he has to eat like quinoa salad and kale chips and crap like that. Nobody wants to eat that. Yes, I realize that there's a huge market for it and people eat it and some people find it delicious.
I have
But
to
you're
tell you, I had some kale chips with hummus and it was quite good. But it was the
okay.
hummus. The kale chips were merely a vehicle for getting the hummus to my mouth.
I was gonna say you could put hummus on peanut butter shell or peanut shell and
Right.
it'd be fine.
It would be just fine.
You could put hummus on copier paper and people would eat it because it's hummus.
Maybe that's why my printer is talking to me. Maybe it's saying, make more chips.
Feed me hummus. Oh, that's funny. So yeah, this is episode 6, and they're episode 3 or 13 episodes this season. So we are about halfway through.
They're gonna wear me out crossing wires with Fear the Walking Dead, man.
I know we're behind on this. We got to do Fear the Walking Dead this week.
Yeah.
We got at least do one episode of Preacher this
I
week.
agree. I agree.
Strap in, ladies and gentlemen. I think I am going to have to turn to some medicinal crack to get through this.
I just want to weeb it to the shite that's coming out of the back of the AC.
Well, I really think that we should drink some radiator fluid for a new experience.
And eat an owl. Why not?
Or a horse. I mean, you have 3.
Oh, that's true. That's true. It does get to the point where you can really only ride one at a time.
Yeah. Yep.
Lovely. Now Adam Crosdell is like, those chicks in Alaska, I'm done. Peace out. I was gonna listen to them. I was gonna promote them. I'm totally peace out, man.
We have not mentioned anything about your goats. That crosses a line.
It does cross a line.
TC. Dirty.
And you dingle.
It was a dangling. Your dingle was dangling.
It was, in fact.
Oh. Yeah.
All right, poorly pixelated sister.
Yes.
Till the end of the world?
Till the end of the world.
All right, everybody, have a good week.
Have a good one.
Left his body